Here's something that might shock you. The people who stand out the most in any room aren't the loudest ones. They're not the ones with the flashiest clothes or the most dramatic stories. In fact, there's a psychological principle that suggests the complete opposite of what we've been taught about getting noticed. And once you understand this principle, you'll never walk into a room the same way again. What if I told you that the secret to being unforgettable has nothing to do with talking about yourself?
Picture this. You're sitting in a crowded airport terminal. Hundreds of people rushing past, phones buzzing, announcements echoing overhead. Everyone's absorbed in their own world. Then you notice her, a woman sitting 2 seats away. She's not checking her phone. She's not talking loudly on a call. Instead, she turns to an elderly man struggling with his boarding pass and simply asks, "Can I help you with that?" Something shifts in that moment, not just for him, but for everyone watching. Suddenly, she's the most memorable person in that terminal. But why? The answer lies in what psychologists call the Benjamin Franklin effect, but there's a twist to it that most people miss entirely.
Here's what's happening in our brains. We're hardwired to notice patterns that break the norm. In a world where everyone's broadcasting themselves, the person who turns their attention outward becomes magnetic. Think about your last conversation at a party. How much time did you spend waiting for your turn to speak versus actually listening? Most of us are guilty of the same thing. We're so focused on making our mark that we miss the real opportunity. I learned this the hard way at a networking event last year. I spent the first hour perfecting my elevator pitch, rehearsing clever responses, mentally preparing my highlight reel. But then I met David, a quiet guy by the coffee station, who asked me something I wasn't prepared for. What's the most interesting challenge you're working on right now? Not, what do you do? Not, how's business? He wanted to know about my challenges. And suddenly, I found myself talking about things I actually cared about. The creative blocks, the projects that kept me up at night thinking. That conversation lasted 2 hours, and 6 months later, David became one of my closest collaborators. The psychological principle at work here is called the spotlight effect in reverse. We assume everyone's watching us, judging us, waiting to see what we'll do next. But the truth is, everyone else is thinking the exact same thing. So when you break that pattern, when you become genuinely curious about others, you create something rare, authentic connection.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Standing out isn't about one grand gesture. It's about mastering 3 layers of human psychology, like building a house from the foundation up.
Layer 1, the foundation of presence.
Real presence isn't about commanding attention. It's about giving it. When you walk into a room, instead of scanning for who might notice you, scan for who you can notice. Look for the person standing alone, the colleague who seems overwhelmed, the friend who's smiling but looks tired. This shift does something powerful to your energy. You stop radiating, "Look at me," and start radiating, "I see you." Think of yourself as a lighthouse. You don't chase ships. You simply shine consistently.
Layer 2, the art of strategic curiosity. Most people think being interested means asking, "How's work?" or "What do you do?" Those questions feel like filling out a form. Instead, try story starters. When someone mentions vacation, don't ask where they went, ask what surprised them most. When they talk about work, ask what part they'd keep doing even without pay. Here's the power move. Flip assumptions. Ask the CEO about unwinding. Ask the busy parent about personal dreams. Ask the serious lawyer what makes them laugh. These questions bypass small talk and reach what makes people come alive.
Layer 3, the memory anchor. After you've truly listened, find one specific detail and anchor it with genuine observation. They mentioned loving morning runs for thinking time. Try, "There's something about people who protected thinking time." You can see it in how you choose your words. That's not flattery, that's recognition. And recognition is what people crave most. The key is specificity. Instead of, "You're so smart," try, "The way you connected those ideas just shifted how I think about this problem."
Generic compliments feel transactional. Specific observations feel like someone truly saw you.
Here's what happens when you master this approach.
You don't just stand out in the moment. You become the person others want to introduce to their friends. You become the one they think of when opportunities arise. You become unforgettable, not because you demanded to be remembered, but because you made others feel truly seen. And the beautiful part? This isn't manipulation or strategy in the cold sense. This is simply choosing to be the kind of person who makes rooms brighter rather than louder. Think of it like being a tuning fork in a chaotic orchestra. While everyone else is playing different songs at different volumes, you provide the clear, steady note that helps others find their harmony. The research backs this up too. Studies show that people who demonstrate genuine interest in others are rated as more charismatic, more trustworthy, and more memorable than those who focus primarily on self-promotion. But here's the kicker. They also report feeling more confident and less anxious in social situations.
Before you worry about what impression you're making, get curious about the person in front of you. Not curious about what they can do for you or how they might judge you, curious about their story, their perspective, their unique way of seeing the world. Start small. Notice one thing about them that most people probably miss. Maybe they have an unusual way of gesturing when they're excited, but they pause thoughtfully before answering questions, or they light up when certain topics come up. Then, instead of filing that observation away, mention it. I notice you get this particular energy when you talk about teaching. What is it about that work that connects with you? Watch what happens. Watch how they light up when they realize you're genuinely interested in their thoughts, not just waiting for your turn to share yours. Watch how the conversation suddenly has depth, weight, meaning. This is how you stand out in any crowd, not by being the loudest voice, but by being the clearest listener, not by being the most impressive, but by being the most interested, not by demanding attention, but by giving it so fully that people can't help but remember how you made them feel. So here's your challenge. In your very next conversation today, ask one question you're genuinely curious about the answer to. Not a question designed to impress or lead somewhere specific, just pure curiosity about another human being. And if this video helped you see conversations differently, hit that subscribe button. Because understanding human psychology isn't just about standing out. It's about connecting in a world that's forgotten how to truly see each other.